Welcome one and all to Fatherhood Festival Field, where tonight the North Division takes center stage. The DC Dragons 1 and 2 taking on the Canton Classics 2 and 1, a rematch of last season's semifinal, and both teams eager to prove their worth tonight. Alongside Charles Doherty in the booth, I'm Cameron Irvine, Luke Schreiner, Andrew Gibson on stats. Ron Haynes always here to provide us Haynes Vision. Tyler Falk, Chris Curtis back in studio. The gang is all here. And Charles, we're hoping for a good one tonight. DC probably wants this one pretty bad after their semifinal loss.
Yeah, Cam. Hey, I'm a father, and it feels like this is a festival. But hey, I'm just saying that this is going to be a big game tonight for DC. I'm hoping for an epic battle, but we were talking about this, off air leading into the game. DC's going to have a perfect game. They have the horses to get it done. First couple games in the season haven't shown a lot of offense. Defense has been pretty solid, but they're really going to have to step up on offense. And I think in order to do that, you're going to have to get their tight end Percoco involved.
And it looks like DC will get the ball to start the ball game. Ball's on the tee. Kick it. We are underway. Thank you, Rob Ems. From the 1 yard line on the return now is Harrison up to the 23-yard line, already with a punt return touchdown this season. Sam Harrison gets DC started. You mentioned, Charles, DC's struggles offensively. They got it done against Queen City in their last game, but pretty unorthodox in a 27-13 win.
Yeah, I mean, two of their scores, one came off a punt return for a touchdown and the other an interception for a touchdown. They're looking for, maybe a halfback or two and a wide receiver or two dancing in the end zone tonight.
First down at the 23-yard line, and DC will start with an I formation, three receivers, two off to the right, top of the screen. Will send one in motion. That's Lauren Percoco, who did not even have a target last week. As Canton starts with 7 in the box, Synergy will start with a pass, and Synergy will fire down the field. That pass is off of Percoco's head, originally deflected on the play, and that'll set up a 2nd down and 10.
Well, it started off pretty smart there, Cam, moving Percoco into that, flooding that zone side, but the pass needed to be a little bit more crisp coming out of Synergy's hands.
So we start 2nd down and 10. We've seen teams not get the run established early enough against Canton, and DC's going to try to beat him through the air at least early. That pass is incomplete, overthrown, as there were plenty of classics in coverage on that one, including King Jamal, and quickly DC is at a 3rd and 10.
That wasn't the best pass by Synergy as well. And maybe he needs, maybe a little tap by one of the defenders to wake him up a little bit.
Synergy has struggled with completion percentage this season, 21st in the SFL and sub 50%. Will roll out left. Synergy back to pass. Fires caught. That's Mason Kirby for the 1st down for DC out to the Canton 41-yard line, and the Dragons, just in the nick of time, get the offense moving.
I think in order for DC to win tonight, they're going to have to be creative, almost kind of on the veins that the way that Florida did in the championship. Be a little creative, maybe use tight ends a little bit more in some wide receiver slots. Somehow, they've only got 2 contracted wide receivers, so they're going to have to make the best of it and use their stars in multiple positions, I think.
Toss play out to Chuck Stellar, and Stellar will get the ground game going for a pickup of 5.
I love it. Fullback, 5'11", 240, man. When he gets the ball and starts running, everyone can hear his footsteps up in the stadium.
9:05 to go in the first. DC's in their black pants and helmets with the white jerseys and the gradient numbers. Canton in their traditional blue helmets, blue jerseys, and gold pants with the gold numbers. Toss play, this time to, I believe, Alexander, the backup for Stellar, will set up a 3rd and manageable one.
Not a lot of hate towards the offensive game calling so far. I mean, they're using their running backs. They've got some skilled running backs. Haven't put up the numbers so far this season, but so far the line's blocking and the running backs are running crisp.
And Synergy takes off on a quarterback sneak. I think that even surprised the Canton Classics, picking up the 1st down for the Dragons.
That just little wrinkle right there might be something they can build on as well on those short down situations. It keeps the defense guessing on their heels. They don't know what to expect.
So back at it here. Couple first downs here for the Dragons. Toss play. This is Stellar again. We've seen a heavy dose of Stellar. Not so much Say so far. Wrapped up by Joshua Durr. Second down.
Joshua Durr is easy. He is a cornerback. Man, he can tackle like a linebacker on those one-on-one open, right on the side. That's the cornerback you want there on the side, keeping that run gain at a minimum.
Toss now. Kevin Say breaks off a tackle. Say will pick up a couple. I like what DC's trying to do here, making it a more manageable third down for Synergy, but it only picks up 2.
Yeah, it looks like the defense for Canton starting to get a little settled in there. Maybe hitting that extra gear to close on the runner.
3rd and 8. Big third down here for the Dragons on their opening drive. Empty backfield here for Synergy on the Canton 40. He'll roll out again on third down, and it's caught by Kirby to the 27-yard line. Looked like a flip of the first third down conversion. The Dragons on the move early, 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, nice play design there on the rollout. They had a couple wide receivers flooding that zone area, and Kirby was able to squeak by the middle coverage, get a little hole in the seam, and get that nice completion for a first down.
Well, the DC Dragons, who have put up 6 and 9 points against the Classics in the last 2 meetings in this building, the only 2 meetings in this building, trying to get a touchdown here. Stellar, another 5 yards, and going maybe with a bigger body against a bigger front 7, Charles.
Yeah, and the blocking on the edge has been crisp on that particular play. They did the pitch play away from the run blitz and was able to capitalize on some good downfield blocking and get 5 on the board.
6:23 left in the first. DC on the move. Toss, Kevin Say. Say tried to get it outside. Didn't really follow his blockers all too well. Can't find any room. Third down again for the Dragons, the 3rd time on this drive.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with those pitches, especially if you run them a lot, is the defenses of the SFL start to hone in on that, and they can hit you right when the ball hits the running back and cause a pretty bad situation like a fumble.
Third down, Synergy fires, caught Percoco at the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, DC. The Dragons have come up huge on third down.
Yeah, one-handed catch, I believe, by Percoco as well. It looked like the coverage was pretty decent there. I didn't get the number. I think that might have been Pearson on the coverage. But, man, one-handed catch, move the change. They're knocking at the door.
1st and goal, almost half the quarter gone. Toss to Stellar. Stellar, stiff arm, dove, and touchdown. DC, I didn't know men that big could fly. The Dragons stunned the Classics on the opening drive.
I felt like I was at SeaWorld and Shamu just dived out of the water. Look at that. That was amazing. He kind of got stood up midway too, but paused in the air, did some breaking some laws of physics, and then restarted his plunge into the water.
I think he's been watching some Olympics. That was some pole vaulting stuff. Put his hand on the back of his teammate and said, "Launch me, baby." 7-0. The kick is good, and that was a surprise, especially since DC faced an early 3rd and 10. 13-play, 78-yard drive. The Dragons have to feel good about that one. They take an early 7-0 lead.
Yeah, the Dragon offense awoke on that drive. That was pretty impressive. And normally, well, not normally, but I wasn't expecting it to be, rely so heavily on the run. Couple good passes there, but I think what really got him there, that one catch by Percoco as well, is very solid running and blocking by the Dragons.
Oh, here comes Canton on special teams. That's Bob Lung. He may have stepped out of bounds. He's still in, according to the officials, the 49-yard line. That may be worth an early challenge for DC, but Bob Lung continues to be impressive.
Yeah, even if he did step out of bounds, that was a heck of a return. It just shows power of Lung. Stood up right there, just powered on through with the stiff arm. Yeah, I think he was clearly out. But a good run nonetheless.
So we will, yep, there's the challenge there from Mullinex wearing some camo attire tonight. He was Wolverine last week. You never know what you're going to get out of Coach Mullinex, but we're going to get a challenge here. Ray Donaldson looking on from the sideline of Canton. I think this is going to come back, but still a great return from Bob.
look at that stiff arm. That's just amazing how the players in this league can do that. The different colored shoes too. I don't know what that means, but it's a fashion statement.
Well, it may not have helped him on that play. If he had 2 white shoes on, maybe it would have been harder to spot.
Right. Good point.
That was a retroactive look at the play presented by Retroid. Get your console to play SFL on the go at GoRetroid.com. DC not charged a timeout. And Canton will have to scoot it back a little bit, but still starting good starting field position at the 36-yard line. Scar Patterson this season, 5th in the league in completion percentage, 5th in the league in touchdowns, 8th in QBR, about 80.
What else can you ask for?
Especially in this offense that is super talented in the backfield. Logan Lee's going to take this pitch, and on Lee's first carry gets past midfield down to the DC 45-yard line. Canton's offense here to play as well.
Yeah, they've got a dual-headed monster in Lee and Johnson. I mean, and they're very, very dangerous. We talked about the toss play for DC. Canton's a master at the toss play, and they'll make you pay for it. You need to have a defender on both of those edges watching for that.
Starting lineup scrolling across your screen here at Hall of Fame City in Canton, Ohio. Dragons up to the test so far in an early lead, but Canton right into DC territory as Strongbow comes on a blitz. Jason Strongbow picked up that pass, dumped off to Al Dillapre Sr. to pick up 3.
They showed a little zone blitz there, might have thrown him off. There was a thunder of defenders waiting for the wide receiver.
Second and 7, DC's defense coming across the screen. Toss. That is Bill Cherry. Cherry gets rid of one, and then another DC defender ran into a teammate. First down. Canton as Bill Cherry gets going.
You know, I should have said a 3-headed monster, because Cherry's no slouch out of the backfield as well. Last week he had a touchdown, and you know, when he gets the ball, he makes you pay for it, just like the other 2.
First down and 10. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Early on here. Welcome everybody in chat. Let us know how we're sounding this week. Toss. Logan Lee. Lee is stretching out to about the 26, 25-yard line to set up second and short.
Good run. You know, after 7 yards, he eventually ran into a riot of Dragon defenders.
Oh, I see what the theme is tonight, Charles. You got that thesaurus out.
Oh, what's that? What are you talking about?
Second and 3. 3 thought I like it. 3:30 to go in the first. Al Dillapre Sr. is going to go all the way across the formation. Split backs here for Canton, and Scar Patterson going to take off and run. These two are doing things a little bit differently, but also similarly here on their opening drives, Charles.
Scar Patterson is, I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. I mean, he does whatever you ask him to do, and he does it well. I mean, previous teams he threw a lot, put up a ton of numbers, and here he's just kind of a little more medium. You know what I mean? He's managing I hate to say managing the game, but, you know.
Nice play by Strongbow, their linebacker on the fullback. Knocked that away from Cherry, second down. Fatherhood Festival Field trying to contain their excitement here on Canton's opening possession. Handoff to Logan Lee, and Jason Strongbow knocks him backwards. We'll set up our first 3rd and long of the evening for the Classics.
Yeah, nice pre-snap read by the defense. It looked like, I'm not sure if that was an end or a linebacker that made that adjustment a little more to the outside of the edge and was able to slow up the runner, and he got some help and was able to stop the game.
Scar Patterson near the end zone, and Al Dillapre Sr. just inches away from the score. First and goal, Canton.
Well, you get close to the goal line, Dillapre Sr. is the target. I mean, he's the leading receiver on this team. He's got the most yards as well, and you know, he's the go-to guy. So you got to keep a man or two on him.
And Canton actually wants the touchdown to go to Scar and Al, so Donaldson going to challenge this. Take a retroactive look at the play, presented by Retroid. Get your console to play SFL on the go at GoRetroid.com. This is an interesting challenge here.
That pass protection.
I think he's short.
Yeah, I don't know what they saw. What Donaldson saw there on the sideline.
And the ruling on the field stands, so Canton's going to lose a timeout. First half, not a huge deal. I think Canton just wanted to balance out their touchdowns. They got 4 through the air, 5 on the ground this season, and maybe wanted to get another for Scar and Al.
That's definitely one way to think about it.
4 receiving touchdowns for Canton have actually gone to 4 different receivers, including Al, who has 1. First down and goal, 2:11 to go in the first quarter. And Brian Owens goes in motion. DC's got 8 in the box. Handoff Logan Lee, and Lee walks in. Touchdown Canton. They respond in 3 minutes. We got a great offensive shootout here early.
Yeah, and no surprise, most of it was on the back of their 3-headed monster, the fullback and 2 running backs. A couple good passes as well, but man, they make it look easy, Cam.
And a good sign for both units answering the call here tonight. In some ways, I would say, Charles, these defensive units for both teams are the strengths of their teams, at least so far this season. The over-under tonight is 45.5, but so far it's both offenses that have shown up, shown balance, and shown clutchability.
Definitely, a lot of clutchability out there. The offense, on your defense, I think is we're kind of waiting for both sides, like you said, to step up and make an impact out there.
On a return, Harrison will again only get up to about the 26-yard line. The stats from the opening drives of these two teams, you can see both teams with over 25 yards on either end of the ball. Over 5 yards a play, 4 first downs. All looks pretty good so far.
Definitely. And to complain about.
First down for the Dragons. Can they keep it up is the question. As Synergy's pass is caught. That's Josh Gill picking up 4. Gill had his first catch against Queen City very late in that fourth quarter, and this is a pretty thin group at receiver, probably the thinnest in the SFL.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, they need to be a little creative on offense, and so far it's working.
Kevin Say with the carry will set up 3rd and 4.
Yeah, get a look at that shirt. I mean, wow. Every week it's a surprise to see what the coach is wearing.
That's one of the fun things about the Dragons, and their uniform game. I mean, they're the Oregon of the SFL. They really have everything going on. Here's Chuck Steller on a toss, great block, and on 3rd down, got the first with a 4-yard pickup to Chuck Steller, and he can thank his teammate for getting around the end. James Judah signed him week 2.
Yeah, he's got to be feeling pretty good as well. Chuck Steller, not getting involved as much as he has been tonight.
Lauren Percoco wide open, first down to the 48-yard line. And another move of the chains for the Dragons. That's their 6th first down of the night.
Yeah, this is haven't seen this type of offense out of DC yet this season. I mean, 1.5 possessions, and you haven't seen any flaws.
38 seconds to go in the first quarter. Usually here on Monday we've had, as that is out to Steller, and boy, Mike All says, I've had enough of that. Loss of 3 yards. Usually, Mike, at this point in MNS, we are losing our minds over something wild and crazy. Haven't seen anything wild and crazy tonight, just good football.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. You can call me Mike, but I will continue to call you Cam.
Great. Well, it was a perfect first quarter. Thanks, Charles. Jay Hayden goes in motion. Final play of the quarter. Synergy actually will wait for the second quarter. They'll go 10 yards and flip the field. That is the end of the first quarter of play. DC 7, Canton 7. What a start to Week 4's Monday Night Spectacular. Ron Haynes, Andrew Gibson, Luke Schreiner in the stats truck, Chris Curtis, Tyler Falk back at SFL headquarters for halftime and post. Charles Doherty, Cameron Irvine here with you at Fatherhood Festival Field in Canton, Ohio. 14.5-point favorites for Canton right now. DC holding their own. They got a first down at the 45-yard line, or second and 13 rather, as that pass is incomplete. Looking for Percoco across the middle, and this will be their most difficult third down yet, but they are 5 for 5 so far.
Yeah, it looked like Synergy was going to throw to that wide receiver regardless of whether or not he was covered by 3 defenders.
Maybe trying to make up for lost time as Percoco was absent from last week's game plan against Queen City, but they still got the win. Another rollout here on third down and long, and that pass is caught by Kirby, but he's inches short of the first down. Might they go for this here?
I mean, why not? But I think it looked a little close. One of those linemen looked like went more than 5 yards downfield on that play.
No call, and Synergy is still on the field. They are going for this, an early fourth down conversion attempt here for the DC Dragons with split backs in the backfield. 7 in the box and a 3-4 look for Canton. Synergy will toss out to Stellar. Got it with ease to the Canton 36-yard line. Stellar now 7 carries for about 25 yards.
Yeah, that's the wrinkle we were looking for. Get that fullback involved.
$9:10 to go in the first half. And again, this time it's Harrison. He's buried in the backfield. I think the question, Charles, is what is DC's adjustment going to be in the second half? Because Canton is already starting to pick up on some of what they're putting down here in the first half.
Yeah, those again, like I said, those pitches, those tosses can be dangerous if the defense is used to them.
Synergy short to Percoco. That's incomplete, 3rd and 14. And here comes another 3rd and long, maybe looking for Kirby once more.
Yeah, it's amazing how one play like that stop in the backfield can disrupt the flow on offense, and it looked like on this series they really rattled DC a little bit.
Synergy is 6 for 10 for 77 yards. They go empty here again on 3rd and 14, but this time Canton's in a man look. This is Jay Hayden, the tight end, going all the way outside. So they got 5 wide, but 2 tight ends on the field to go along with their star receivers. Synergy will roll. Synergy will fire all the way across the field. There's a flag. They were looking for Hayden, and the VAR official at about the 10-yard line calls pass interference from behind. That'll be a first down.
Yep, Hayden is not targeted very often. I think he's got 1 catch all season. But, man, when you throw it to him, it counts. He's averaging 36 yards per catch, that 1 catch, and this one would have been close to a first down as well. Even, they got the penalty, but still, that was a long pass.
I think that's a bad call. I mean, DJ Kilganon out there doing a pretty good job at linebacker on tight end. I didn't see too much there, but DC takes advantage to the Canton 26-yard line. And Synergy goes over the middle, caught by Percoco, pickup of 6. So this time they go away from the little pitch on first down and get it to second and manageable.
Yeah, quick drop, pretty smart. There was some, I think Synergy saw a blitz coming on the outside, was able to get rid of it, and a nice short pass.
2nd and 4. Oh, they faked the toss end around to Percoco. Picked up, they say she didn't get anything. She definitely got at least half a yard, but wow, nice little wrinkle there from the Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, she got a little aroused from the audience there because you don't see that very often on the field.
Wow, 3rd and 4 at about the 20 after Percoco takes the carry. And Synergy against the blitz is going to be sacked. Oh, man, unblocked off the end. That's Kilganon with the sack, the first of the game or the second of the game for Canton, rather, and it'll force a 4th down field goal.
And I believe that's the first for Kilgannon this season. But he got out of there like a missile, went right to Shabazz and just put him on his keister.
So 42-yard field goal attempt coming up for Caleb Richards. in his 5th season in the SFL, but first in DC. So far, he's 3 for 3 this season, but his long is only 31. This is from 42 yards out, and it sneaks over the crossbar. That kick is good. A 14-play, 49-yard drive, and with just 2 drives in the first half, DC has scored on both of them, and they have a 3-point lead.
They needed to put the points on the board. I mean, like I said, it looked like they were a little rattled getting closer to the red zone there, but they were able to walk away with 3. That's not so bad.
The Brew Kettle of Canton, Ohio, located just steps outside the end zone of the Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in the Hall of Fame Village, is the place to be to watch Canton Classics games just like this one. You can also enjoy specialty crafted beer from the Canton Brewing Company, or try your hand at the attached Top Golf Swing Suite. Say that 3 times fast, Charles. That's the Brew Kettle of Canton, Ohio, the official home of the Canton Classics.
Nice. You should name a dessert after you.
After me?
Yeah.
Call it a Pazuki.
Pazuki.
See, we're on the same page. Oh, goodness. 7:13 to go in the first half. The Dragons get a field goal on their second possession. This is just the second possession for the Canton Classics in this game. They toss it out to Logan Lee. Logan Lee breaks off a tackle, will drag Peanut Say for 8 yards to set up 2nd and 2.
It's got to be frustrating for free safety. It looks like free safety DeSantis had him. No, maybe it wasn't DeSantis. Sorry about that. But it looked like one of the safeties had a shot at the runner and just got brushed aside.
Well, that was DeSantis getting blocked by Ryan Owens. Canton's wide receivers also pretty great run blockers as well. Logan Lee's night, 5 carries for 33 yards and a touchdown. We have not yet seen Robert Johnson in this game. 6 on the line, or close to the line, for the Dragons now on 2nd and short. Shea's going to go out with Dillapre. And Scar Patterson with a sneak. And they mark him short. I think that may be worth a challenge as well. There's his entire body was across the line.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, coming into this game, Cam, Robert Johnson is a leading rusher in the league. I don't think. I mean, they did have to do some scouting against Lee, but I think they were anticipating a lot more runs by Johnson.
Oh, they hand it off to Cherry. Who needs a challenge for inches when you got Bill Cherry rumbling for 10 up the middle, 1st down Canton?
Yeah, he's saying, hey, I'm a fullback. I can run it too. Give me the ball.
Six minutes to go in the first half. All possessions have resulted in points. And Canton's on the move too. Scar, toss, Logan Lee. Look at the blocking outside. Logan Lee makes a man miss, gets around the DC 35-yard line. He is rumbling tonight.
It looked like we had 6 statues intertwined there on the side there. Look at how the wide receivers and the tight end and the tackle just lock them all up. That's a running back's dream, Cam.
51 yards on 6 carries so far for Lee tonight. Back-to-back Offensive Player of the Year. He is tough to stop. Handoff Robert Johnson, his first carry of the game. You know, Johnson is the league leading rusher in part of because Logan Lee got hurt in their last game. But as you mentioned, number 1 in carries, number 1 in yards coming in. Both Johnson and Lee are top 10 in yards per carry. Scar going to throw, 2nd and 10, pump fake. Now he's going to take off and run, and Scar picks up 5. Both quarterbacks doing it with their legs early to set up 3rd manageable.
Yeah, Scar's, he's got like almost a 3.7 yard average per run.
3rd and 5. Canton has converted both of their 3rd downs in this one, 2 for 2. Patterson to throw. Patterson fires. That's caught off the shoelaces of Al Dillapre Sr. for a 1st down into the red zone.
This offense, we talked about DC, but Canton offense is just humming. They haven't made a mistake yet.
And Dillepre's up to 3 catches for 34 yards. He's the only receiver in this offense coming in with double-digit catches in 3 games. That's 15. Handoff, Logan Lee, and Strongbow, along with Josh Vasquez, able to bring him down for a short game.
Yeah, they definitely, almost 62% of their passes go to the wide receiver, and most of them, like you said, are to Dillepre.
4 minutes left in the first half. Dillepre goes in motion. Handoff, Robert Johnson. Strongbow's there again. He's up to 5 tackles and a pass deflection. 3rd down, Canton. They're 3 for 3.
Yeah, you got to keep Strongbow on the edge like that. He's been tackling, putting on a clinic tonight.
3:25 to go in the first half. Unreal. 3 receivers for Scar. Patterson to throw. Oh, he lost the ball! It's picked up by a big man. There's a flag on the play, too. Oh, my goodness. Loads to talk about. Lord recovers the fumble, and it's a block in the back on the fumble return. DC's just going to decline it all and call it 4th down. A critical stop for the Dragons. Maybe Haynes Vision can let us know if you didn't catch it, Charles, who was in there to force that fumble. But Canton now will have to kick a field goal.
Yeah, all I know, they ran a fan stunt and with a middle linebacker blitzing up the middle, and it totally disrupted that offense.
And Rob M's field goal is good, an 11-play, 54-yard drive. That's 4 drives and 4 scores in the first half. And just like Canton answered DC's first drive, they answer their second drive with an identical score with 2:49 to go in the first half. That was Mike Wagoner with that forced fumble. Thank you, Ron. And Wagoner has been balling this season. That is not a surprise. That kick was out of the back of the end zone. And DC will start with it on the 20.
That's DC. Let's see what DC's got, man. This is going to have to be, I wouldn't say a track meet, but every time the offense touches the ball in their drive, they're scoring. So let's see if they can keep up this pace.
Mike Wagoner is also top 10 in the league in sacks this season with 3. He's got 5 total tackles for losses. They'll start the drive, will DC, to hand it off to Kevin Say, a pickup of 2.
He had a lane in the middle, Cam. I'm not sure if he would have made a first down, but definitely would have put a couple more on the ground there.
2nd and 8, Say, just 6 yards on 4 carries so far. 26 yards on 7 carries for Stellar. Synergy has 7 yards on a couple of sneaks as well. 2nd and 8, toss, Chuck Stellar. Look at the blocking from the Dragons. That is near a first down. Stellar on his 8th carry. Both teams blocking stellarly outside.
Oh, well done, sir. Stellar is fun to watch, Cam. He's like a boulder rolling downhill.
Rolling to the 2-minute warning. We're tied at 10. What a game here on Week 4's Monday Night Spectacular. Keep it here.
I mean, Cam, you started it up, and I joined, and you just stopped.
Stop what? Oh, the rolling?
The roller.
Well,
yeah, you just,
it's game flow.
Practice that.
You got to reset the stage for people. Stellar, first down to the 35-yard line, as easy as you please. Rockefeller had to come up and make the tackle.
It's definitely, I think both teams' defenses are going to go in the locker room and try and figure out a way to slow those tosses down.
Yeah, this second half is going to be really interesting, Charles, because both teams doing a lot with a little in the playbook, but that's all going to change in the second half. And what is going to be the counter, as Kevin Say will pick up just a couple. Nice pull by Quinn Zook.
If I were DC, I don't care if I don't put any points on the board. I cannot give the ball back to Canton.
That's true. Yeah, good point. Now, Canton does get the ball to start the second half, but it's 0-0. You just can't make a fatal mistake here. Synergy drops straight back. Oh my goodness! No, no. Charles brought it up. Kevin Brackett with the interception, and that's exactly what we said should not happen.
Wow, and he threw it right into the scrum there. Yeah, that was not the best pass for Synergy tonight, and Brackett made him pay. I mean, Brackett is one, if not the best outside linebackers in the league so far this season.
The first drive of the first half that goes for no points, and now Canton has the ball on the Dragon 43-yard line. Scar's going to get aggressive with it, and that pass is over the head of everyone he was looking for. Owens may have been the intended target on that one for the first time tonight. It's just his second incompletion, second down.
Yeah, DC escaped one on that because it looked I think it was Kirby that was making on a post route that was open. A little more touch on that play. We could have been looking at some points.
1:03 left in a very exciting first half. Both teams have come to play tonight. Patterson drops to throw. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! What a play by Josh Vasquez. That may have been the greatest interception we have ever seen.
And that's the way a defense answers. I mean, we've been bragging on the offenses all night tonight. Last two series, the defense have just, knuckled up and knocked the offense on their you-know-what.
Wow, Josh Vasquez. Woo. If I had a fan, I'd be waving it in front of my face. My Lord. First down of the 45. That was pretty. And now the Dragons back to work. They'll just pitch it out to Stellar to pick up 3, and they will call a timeout to see what they can get out of this before the end of the half.
Well, Shabazz is pretty aggressive, so I'm not expecting them to run the clock out.
Synergy 7 of 12 for 83 yards and a pick. Kirby's the leading receiver, but Percoco's been the leading target. This pass to a wide open Kirby is complete to the 39-yard line. Timeout Dragons. They have one left. That was a little bit of a shift in the play calling there for DC, and it works out.
Yeah, it looked like the secondary was on deep zone coverage. I think on this play right here, Cam, you just want to get enough to get you in field goal and stop that clock.
And if they get into field goal range here, they should be able to preserve that last time out, but we'll see here. Synergy looking, dumps it off short. Percoco actually slipped and fell, but got to the 35-yard line. They will hold on to that last time out to try and get a field goal. Synergy now at 100 yards, 9 of 14. Shabazz back to throw, finds Percoco down to the 23-yard line. 32 seconds left. They're still in the hurry up.
She's so great at route running. That was incredible.
26 seconds left. Percoco with 5 catches in the first half. Synergy rolls, fires short, and Percoco was blanketed. Incomplete on her 8th target of the first half. 23 seconds left.
I think that incompletion could be a blessing in disguise. Now they get to settle down and figure out the next couple plays they're going to run.
2nd and 10. Synergy, blitz picked up. Oh, Kirby, look at him. He knows it, Charles. Just dropped it.
Yeah, the quarterback did all he could do to get the ball to him. It was just, Kirby's just kicking himself on that one.
So 21 seconds now. It is 3rd and 10, so you need the 12 and a half no matter what.
Gotta have a couple short routes, Cam. Don't go for the end zone.
Sam Harrison goes in motion, and he is being chased by a linebacker. That could be a mismatch. Synergy looks, and again, was looking for Percoco short. That route looked totally mistimed, and Percoco and Synergy are having some words about it. They'll end up having to settle for 3.
There might have been a blessing in disguise. I hate to keep saying that, but walk away with 3. Basically, a series ago, they would have paid to be in this position.
Richards' kick is good, and you're absolutely right, Charles. I mean, when they throw that interception, you're thinking, oh, man, Canton's about to do something with it, take momentum into the half, and yeah, I think DC will take the 3 all day in that situation, and barring something disastrous from the Dragons special teams and defensive units. They're going to take the lead into the half here.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that, it's like, oh no, here goes Canton again. That's what they capitalize on. You give them the ball, they're going to put points on the board. But defense for DC stood up.
Long on the kick return, out to the 33. Still 10 seconds, 2 timeouts left for Canton if they want to sling it or just get it to Logan Lee, because he's averaging 8.3 yards per carry. Maybe he can break something.
Definitely. You can kind of say the same thing we were saying to DC. Don't put the ball back. Don't put the ball in DC's hands with 10 seconds left. You don't want to do something stupid, get an interception, and let them run it back.
Patterson started 3 for 3, but he's missed his last 3 passes, including that pick, although I don't know how much at fault Scar was. That was just a brilliant play by Josh Vasquez. They'll hand the ball off to Logan Lee. And how often do you see Logan Lee go down in the backfield for a TFL? Nick Fargo with the TFL, DC's first of the game. And that takes us to the half. 13-10 DC and Canton. Coming up on the halftime report, Chris Curtis, Tyler Falk have a recap from Canton in a close first half. Differences between this game and the previous matchups between these two, and the biggest surprises from the weekend that's all coming up. But first, Charles, your thoughts on the first half?
I mean, I think it was all offense for both teams going up till late in this second quarter. And I was going to say going in the half how well the quarterbacks played, but those interceptions for both teams, just their QBR went sucking down the drain. But I'm really impressed, though. DC, we talked about DC's offense. They're showing it tonight. They're driving down the field. They're not relying too heavily on the pass or the run. They've got a nice mix there, and they've been able to put 13 up and lead by 3 here at the end of the half.
Your halftime players, Logan Lee, 8 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. And let's take a halftime break presented by Breaks GPT, and we'll be back for the halftime report after this.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
It's an Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
And with that, welcome into the Monday Night Spectacular Halftime Report. I'm Chris Curtis alongside one Tyler Falk. A major stark difference between what we've seen before and what we've seen now, Tyler. It's 13-10 DC with the lead over Canton from Canton, Ohio. Let's touch base. Tell me what you saw from this first half that was and where we can improve in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely, Curtis. I think the big thing is this game is starting to look more and more like the first time when these two teams met up in DC. The only time these two teams have met up in DC. Last season, they met twice here in Canton. Of course, when Pitt was on their roll, going undefeated until that championship game. And it was built on the precipice of the running game. Logan Lee, of course, came in that last season from Vancouver and just took the league by storm, running left, right, center, and including a 120-plus yard performance against these Dragons last season. The big difference here that we've seen in this game between last season is that DC has been able to keep pace, if not start the tempo and maintain this tempo to get the game going. The passing game has been a nice complement to a pretty adequate rushing attack from DC, just about 50 yards or so. But here's the thing, in both previous meetings for the Dragons and for the Classics, DC failed to get even 50 rushing yards in an entire game. DC have done that in just the first half here today. That's why we have a close game. That's why DC's.
Yeah, and this is a much different affair than we've seen previously. It seems like previously, going into kind of the differences between the two, DC was playing not to make mistakes previously, and they seem to, I wouldn't necessarily say throw caution to the wind here, but they seem to be playing with a little more hey, we're just going to do this, we're going to see what happens kind of thing. Because at this point, throw some spaghetti at the wall, see if it sticks. I guess you can throw a couple different analogies at it, but either way, this seems like a different DC team than we've seen, and this is also a DC team that offensively has struggled through the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is what DC has wanted to produce and what DC has produced in large effect throughout the last few seasons. A very substantial running game, which complements a pretty nice passing game. They're getting Coco going, which we saw her this last season uh, set the single game receiving yard mark in a single game, busting past Gabriel Manning on his couple of tallies as well. So it just goes to show you that when DC can be on schedule, when they're able to play up to the potential, this is what we should expect. And so, yes, the offense has struggled a little bit, and that's why we see them, at a 1-2 record this season. But this is what teams and people should expect out of DC, because this is what happens when DC shows up to play.
Yeah, and this is a good stepping stone potentially if they can continue to give Canton a game. I think even if DC, does not come out with the win in this game, this at least this first half should be viewed as a positive, and they'd probably arguably be the scariest 1-3 team out there as it sits right now if that were to come to fruition. But there's a lot of football left, and the chances are good that the way this is shaping up, we're in for a photo finish at the end of this one on a Monday Night Spectacular. Let's talk about the weekend that was. Week 4 in the SFL saw some surprises, no doubt about that. What I want to do is talk to you, Tyler, and have you pick your biggest surprise and break it down.
Ooh, biggest surprise for me. I think the biggest surprise for me was this low-scoring game in Indianapolis and Nashville. I know we've got the Canton Classics, and they're classically known for keeping games either, old school football. I mean, we're wearing all black and white. I mean, you've got all black shirt on, but we know that you're the albino, so there's the white. You're black and white.
I'll always wear black and white. It's fine.
There we go. But we got, an extremely low-scoring game, all field goals over Indianapolis, trying to maybe pay homage to an old-school defensive slugfest where really nothing could happen. We've known Indy to have some offensive struggles here and there. We know that they had some awesome struggles already this season. But for Nashville to be pulled to only 6 points just shows the growing pains of a new expansion franchise going up against a former expansion franchise in Indianapolis just about 4 or 5 seasons ago, who now have some time in the league and have been able to establish themselves, even with an influx of people over the offseason. That's why Indy was able to win and keep it ahead of Nashville.
Yep, I like it. How about the other game? One of the other games that was going on. I mentioned this in the Monday Night Spectacular last week about things that we were excited about, and that is one of the 2 expansion teams was going to get a win. It was either going to be Pittsburgh or Chicago, and emphatically so, Pittsburgh goes and gets the job done against the Chicago team that I don't know how they've taken a step back, because they came from the Seattle franchise who was really on the upswing. And things have really changed for Chicago, and I'm not really able to pinpoint what's gone wrong for them totally. But all credit to Pittsburgh in this game. They came out with a game plan, they executed it fully, and it was a lot of fun to see them get their first franchise win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the big thing is Pittsburgh just wanted it more. They were in front of their own fans. And for Chicago, just trying to make sure that they've got something going, because like you said, they're not really an expansion team,
right?
But
Yeah,
they just have a new name and their new branding, kind of like Lone Star moving over to eventually now Bossier City. They went from Alamo City. I mean, they were previously the Seattle Tyrants. I mean, that whole Bossier City franchise.
Yeah, there's a whole chain of events that happened there. Yeah,
way too many name changes. But for the Chicago franchise that had so much hope, so much promise, so much consistency in that Pacific Division of old, now to come in and take up the Chicago Warriors name, but to not really embody them as the SFLM version of themselves, but just completely fall on their face like this is indeed puzzling. And I really also can't really pinpoint it. My guess is they have not been able to adjust to the tempo, the tenacity of these SFL franchises, and it shows when they're getting crushed by a true expansion franchise in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So all kudos to the
No
Insers
doubt.
over there, but for Chicago, stuff's got to change.
Yeah, no doubt. Getting raffle stomped every week is probably not going to be a very successful way of doing things in Chicago. We'll try to find their way through to the promised land. That said, we got more football on the way from Fatherhood Festival Field. Canton is down to DC in week 4 of the Monday Night Spectacular. 13-10. Cam and Charles on the other side. This has been the MNS Halftime Report. For Tyler Falk, I'm Chris Curtis. We'll see you for postgame.
Thank you, fellas. Welcome back to Canton, where the Canton Classics and DC Dragons are having themselves a great football game right now. 13-10. The DC Dragons have the lead, but Canton's getting the football back to start the second half, along with Charles Doherty. I'm Cameron Irvine, Andrew Gibson, Luke Schreiner, and Ron Haynes in our stats truck. And Tyler and Curtis, thanks for the halftime analysis, fellas. And Charles, did you catch any of that action for the weekend? That Pittsburgh game was quite surprising.
Yeah, I wasn't able to catch the games this weekend. I was traveling, but yeah, I heard about them.
Well, your Legion were on a bye this week, too, so you got a little vacation. 1st and 10 at the 20. We're happy you're back with us here tonight. Logan Lee picks up nearly a first down to get the second half started. Really going to be interesting to see these second half adjustments here tonight, Charles.
I know we still have another half, Cam, but a nod of the cap to Steve Molinex and Fortson and Highfield for DC. So far, it's showing that they put a lot of time and effort in building out that game plan.
Oh, Robert Johnson cuts it back and not going to get there. Chased down by Jason Bourne. That was a curious decision from Robert, but maybe even a better play from Bourne on the backside.
You know what? He might get a little ribbing there by his teammates having a defensive tackle run him down.
3rd and 1, Johnson just 3 yards on 3 carries to start. 3rd and 1, handoff Lee, and he didn't get there. Tackled by Peanut Say out of his cornerback position. I'm not sure if it's worth a challenge or not, but wow, DC gets a 3 and out to start the half.
It was amazing defense by those last 2 plays, man. You had a defensive tackle running down a running back, and then you've got a cornerback coming out on a run blitz and just shutting it down.
Harrison going to give the Dragons the ball on their own 41-yard line. Here's your team stats from the first half. I think the biggest surprising stat there, Charles, is 11 first downs for Canton. This is the toughest team to move the ball against, and we'll see what adjustments they have here in the third quarter. First and 10 to the 41-yard line. And goes in motion. Haynes vision giving us a look at Logan Lee getting tackled before the first down line. Chuck Steller loses a yard. We'll set up 2nd and 11.
Yeah, it's a difference in run blocking ability between 2 teams. The wide receivers for DC not as crisp, trying to close down that edge.
That's a loss of 4. Mike All with the TFL will set up 3rd down and 15.
Wow, so far, the defenses have put the flag down on their ground, and they're holding it.
3rd and very long here for the Dragons. Synergy will roll, and Synergy will fire. Incomplete, knocked away from behind by King Jamal. That's his 3rd pass deflection, and both defenses come out with 3 and outs to start the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, the offenses are sputtering early here in the second half. They got to go back and look and see what kind of adjustments they need to make, because whatever they were running, it wasn't working.
One is away. Deep kick. Wow. All the way to the 10 by Ron Van Cleef. to the 18-yard line on the return. We have seen, Charles, the wind very strong from right to left tonight, but that was crazy.
It's great when you have a contract punter that can hit the laces that hard and put the defense in a good spot.
So Canton will start way back at their 18-yard line. Scar Patterson completed one pass in the second quarter. First down at the 18. At one point, Canton had 29 runs and 29 passes last week in a very balanced victory in their last game. Logan Lee takes the handoff. Not much there. That is John DeSantis who makes his second tackle.
It looked like it had the makings of a good run by Lee, but there were a clue of Dragon defenders there to stop it on the edge.
It's a 53-yard punt by Ron Van Cleef, according to Haynes in the truck. 2nd and 11, another TFL for the Dragons. That's now 4 in the game. Robert Johnson almost had 5, but he broke 2 tackles. Oh, Robert Johnson, first down, obviously his best run of the night, and maybe the best run by any back in this game.
I think that was the best run of any back this game because it looked like he was dead to rights there for a loss maybe. Yeah, let's see. I think his feet stayed in bounds, but man, he turned nothing into a first down.
Tough angle, but it did look like he stayed in. That's now 4 runners for Canton with over 10 yards rushing in this one. 107 yards on the ground of DC's 51. The handoff goes to Lee, and Lee gets nothing as Jason Strongbow, like a rocket, just fires in through the A-gap to make the tackle.
Yeah, and the school of Dragon defenders was there to keep him from getting any yards.
Second down, 6:30 to go in the third.
We're going to break eventually.
Handoff, Lee, and Lee uses the power to get through Vasquez to set up a 3rd and short.
I mean, that play right there encapsulates how frustrating it is to defend against Canton. I mean, just when you think you have them dead to rights, you have their shoulder pads in your hands. They just put the head down, keep grinding their legs, and they put another 7 on the ground.
13 carries, 67 yards for Logan Lee. Scar Patterson fires it out to Bill Cherry, and Bill Cherry says, I'm not going out of bounds. That's for wussies. I'm pushing forward for a first down.
That was a smart play by Vancouver. They saw the blitz coming in. Vancouver, what?
Now you're doing it, Steve.
What the heck? Wow, okay. Well, I'm just going to end that one. Let's go to the next play. Sir.
No, Carl, I want to hit. Nice job by.
That was a smart play. They had the blitz coming in and dump off play. They had the smart route there for the quarterback to dump it off to and put it in the hands of the fullback, and he just did his magic.
I was going to let it go, but then you called yourself out, so.
Yeah. Right when the Cougar came in, I'm like, oh.
And off to Logan Lee, and Lee again, not much room there. That's Kano Fortson off the line with a rare run tackle for a defensive end.
I mean, a lot of these defensive plays for the Dragons, we've just seen a flight of Dragons just shutting it down.
Handoff again. Oh, Johnson just gets pummeled by Nick Fargo, who now leads all tacklers in this game with 7 solo, 3rd and long for Canton.
He's the KG veteran there on the inside. That's the kind of inside linebacker you need. Captain on the field, and he knows just where to be. Good read, good field presence.
Canton is 4 for 6 on 3rd down. Patterson back to pass. Patterson clean pocket, fires and overshot his intended receiver, who was pretty well covered. Talon Steele just his 2nd target, no catches. And DC comes up with another stop, albeit in their own territory.
I mean, you can't put any blame on the offensive line for Canton. I mean, DC went in with a pinch stunt, sent a couple extra blitzers in, and they held their own, gave time for Scar to go through his progressions, just didn't deliver a good pass.
Fair catch call for, yeah, the wind is definitely impacting us here left to right. It appears that Canton would have the wind at their back in the 4th quarter, and DC has the wind at their back now. So 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Synergy's updated numbers, 10 of 19 for 112. Percoco has 5 catches, but on 10 targets, 51 yards. Kirby 4 for 57 on 6 targets, and that's about it in the passing game as Chuck Stellar rumbles for 5.
I love the fact that, and I said that in the first half, I love the fact that they've got Stellar involved. He's he's got 11, 12 attempts. He's only been brought down in the backfield maybe once or twice.
Yeah, Stellar just 28 carries in the first 3 games and 12 already tonight. Synergy, double coverage, throws a pick. Mark Gronick picks it off. That was a surprising play. It looked like it was going to be a catch. Let's get another look at it.
Yeah, there was a book that looked like the wide receiver Percoco was bookmarked by on both sides by defenders. I don't think that was the best place to put the ball.
Double covered, and the second pick for Synergy, who's had interception problems this season. Just 1 passing touchdown on the season. Now 9 interceptions, which is dead last in the SFL. Logan Lee picks up 6 with 4 minutes to go in the third.
You can't give Canton that type of hole up the middle. They're going to burn you every time. Both guards in the center just push the defensive line out of the way.
3:45 to go in the third. 2nd down and 4. Handoff. Robert Johnson has some room to the outside and discards John DeSantis for a first down.
Well, maybe they're giving Lee a little break here in the second half, and it doesn't look like they're missing a whole heck of a lot with Johnson getting the ball.
Look at our stat man, Andrew Gibson, trying to block a lineman, and he did so successfully. 6 foot 185 against some big guys up front. He's given up 100+ pounds there. 1st and 10. Hand off Lee, and Lee manages to get 5 out of nothing, starting to wear down this Dragons defense, which is Canton's specialty.
Yeah, Lee got through the gap, and there was a wing of Dragon defenders waiting for him. I thought it was going to be for a loss, but was just able to chug on through and get 5.
There's no way that's a Synergy. Scar back to pass, wide open, caught Ryan Owens down to the 9-yard line, 1st and goal. The classic offense back to humming again.
They lull you to sleep with the run, and then they just sneak in a wide open wide receiver. And on that one, that was Owens, correct? Yeah, Owens just on that out route. Nobody around, move the chains, and it looks like they're knocking on the door.
2:33 to go in the third. DC trying to hold the 3 to keep momentum on their side. Handoff Lee, nothing. 2nd and goal.
Now's the time. The defense for DC has got to do something to disrupt this the flow of this offense for Vancouver. What the heck, Canton? For crying out loud, Canton. Cam, you did that to me. Called me Mike, and everything went flutter.
It really did. 2nd and goal from the 9. Patterson back to pass. Clean pocket again. Patterson short of the end zone, and a nice wrap-up tackle there by Darrell Bullock to set up a 3rd down and goal now for the Classics.
So far, so good. Not a lot of ground to cover for DC, but they really got to watch the middle or that toss play. I mean, pick your poison, I guess, Cam.
Third and goal, Logan Lee, and all kinds of room up the middle. Touchdown, Canton. They take the lead.
Wow, the offensive line for Canton just opened the path for the running back and just dove right into the wear of the Dragons.
Maybe it's Logan Lee's in the chat. Don't call us Vancouver. Maybe it's because Logan Lee played for Vancouver. It's just
it's Logan Lee's fault. Thanks, Logan.
Yeah, it's doing too much for us. Rob Ems with the extra point. You know, Charles, I make some mistakes that other people don't make too, because I know all the rosters. Earlier tonight, I said that Zach Hamburger made the pick for Arizona because he wears 24. He played for Arizona last season, but then I remembered, no, wait, he's on my roster tonight. Who is that out there? It was Bo Martin Jr., so There you go. It's tough to keep track. Sam Harrison on the return has some space up the middle. That's his best return of the night to the 35-yard line, and that was the first scoring drive after we had 4 straight to start the game. That was the first scoring drive in the last 6.
You know, Cam, it just wouldn't be fun for game chat if we didn't make, you know, little tiny mistakes, minuscule mistakes.
That's true. They'd be very bored. The internet would be
bored.
Very bored if we didn't make any mistakes. Is bored too strong of a word? Probably. Apoplectic? How about that one? First and 10 of the 35. Toss out to Steller. Got a lot of room out here. Chuck Steller being chased. Breaks off a tackle. Chuck Steller past midfield. All kinds of room. They couldn't catch him. And then Steller lays a mean stiff arm for the first down.
A mean stiff arm and a shoulder too, right to the face mask. Holy smokes! Great run, another great run there by the Boulder.
I like DJ's comment. I imagine Cam holding up a cue card with Vancouver on it every couple minutes when Charles is talking, just to mess him up. You know, if we were in studio together, which hopefully we will be able to do sometime later this season, that would be fun.
I'm just waiting for the invite.
Stop. Kevin Say picks up 2 yards. Gronick on the tackle. There's Gronick's updated numbers. On the Canton 46-yard line. Toss, Steller. They can't catch him. Chuck Steller gets outside near a first down. He was being chased by the defensive end, Jabril Curse, but not fast enough.
I mean, the little engine that could. I mean,
yeah.
he was getting around that edge, and it seemed like it took 20 minutes. He did, and nobody touched him, and God bless him.
25 runs, 20 passes for DC. 3rd and 1. There's 7 of them. Oh, Synergy takes off himself and gets to the Canton 31-yard line. They are now 8 of 12 on 3rd down conversions.
Yeah, and Hamburger wrapped him up and threw him down like he stole something.
Shabazz lucky he didn't cough up that football. That was dangerous, and that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. What a ball game here. Canton starting to impose their will, but DC's got no quit. 13-17, Canton on top by 4. We'll be right back after this.
The of the Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Start of the 4th quarter. Ball at the Canton 30-yard line, 13-17. The Classics have a 4-point lead. It has been a great game from start to finish. Flip out to Steller on his 15th carry. He will drag Rockefeller for a pickup of 8 yards.
Oh, man. Yeah, again, tip of the cap to the coaching staff for DC using that fullback. I don't think that Canton was expecting it, and they're making use of it.
It's a heck of a game plan. Steller 78 yards tonight, 86 yards combined in his first 3 games. 2nd and 2, Synergy takes it himself. Thrown down by Rockefeller, but still gets the first down. It's his 4th carry of the night.
He's only 4 yards behind Patterson. No, I think it's even now. 11 yards each. Who's going to win the rushing game for the quarterbacks?
Logan Lee leads all rushers tonight with 87. Steller right behind him as well. 1st and 10, 9-10 to go. Toss, Kevin Say, got a kick block. Kevin Say inside the 10, has a first down to the 8-yard line. There's an injured player on the field. Who is it? It is Kanye Rockefeller, the team's only contracted free safety.
Oh, dear.
Thin in the secondary at safety. Really the only thin spot for this Canton offense or defense, and that is a big loss.
A big loss, but you can tell that Say was just chomping at the bit to get the ball, man. He got that ball on that run, and he wasn't gonna stop with a loss. He just powered through and got a great game.
Could Synergy sneak it up the middle? Look at that. Nope, they toss it out to Steller. Chuck Steller walks into the end zone on a stiff arm. Touchdown, his 2nd of the night, and DC retakes the lead.
This is the game of his season so far. Chuck Stellar, man, he's running left, he's running right. They haven't found a way to stop him yet.
Stellar, 87 yards, which is more than he's had all season long. 16 carries, 2 touchdowns, and DC is back in front.
What a game. What a game, Cam. This is what we're looking for.
Extra point is up and good. 9:03 to go. Canton has a quick turnaround. They play the first game on Friday next week. They take on the Chicago Warriors, and Chicago coming in wounded Warriors. 0-4, really. They got to figure out how to get it going, and I think if I was Chicago, I'd want Canton to win this game. I don't want Canton coming in mad, because they're mad. 1st and 10 at the 30 after that return by Gibson.
It's always tough facing a team like Canton after a loss.
Well, Canton's offense has been pretty good tonight. I don't think they got to be worried too much about that. 206 yards, most of it on the ground. There's a look at your
these
updated
inside
numbers.
linebackers, Cam, are balling out between Gronick and Fargo on both sides.
Fargo has 10 solo tackles. That leads all players tonight. Logan Lee picks up just 2 with help down by Kano Fortson again.
Yeah, wow. And another example of seeing that thunder of Dragons come through and stopping it.
Chuck Stellar's last 100-yard game was against Denver on January 19th of this year. He had 16 for 105, but did not reach the end zone. He had 3 touchdowns and a $140 last September against Motor City as Robert Johnson takes the handoff. 3rd and 7, a big 3rd down coming up here. Fargo, another stop. Canton is 5 of 8 on 3rd down, 2 for 4 this half.
This could be a pivotal 3rd down here, Cam.
Scar Patterson fires, caught, 1st down in midfield. That's Gibson, who had the block on the 100-plus pound difference in lineman earlier, and he gets his first catch tonight.
Yeah, hats off to Scar. Plenty of time there. They sent a defensive back in there on a delayed blitz. He just stood there. Scar just stood there, patient, went through his progressions and found the open receiver and moved the chains.
17 yards for Gibson. That is the 2nd longest completion for Canton tonight. Man coverage here from the Dragons. And they'll run it right into a soft box, and Robert Johnson's nearly got a 1st down.
Yep, smart play. Showing that man-to-man. There was like there were 10 defenders at the top of the screen, and it was smart running it up the middle where it was less defended.
Johnson, who started at 3 carries, 3 yards in his last 5 carries, has 32 yards over 6 yards a carry. 6 on the line for the Dragons, 8 in the box. Owens goes in motion. 7:05 left in the 4th quarter. Patterson takes it himself and has a 1st down. Wrapped up by Saeed Gore.
It's been working all night. I don't recall having either of the quarterbacks when they run that sneak getting stopped in the backfield.
Four in the pattern. That's Talon Steele. Going in motion. Talon Steele. 2 targets, no catches tonight. Oh my, Logan Lee. Wow, John DeSantis basically saved a touchdown there. Lee picks up 9.
Yeah, let's see. So the middle linebacker was waiting for the, I don't know if I can see it, but the middle linebacker was waiting there, and it looked like one of the linemen ran down there and just took him right out of the play.
Canton on back-to-back drives, running right into the teeth of this Dragon defense, has really found some success here. 6:05 left as Dillapre goes in motion. Handoff again. Robert Johnson right up the gut, wasn't touched until 7 yards down the field. Canton's in the red zone.
They're doing what Canton does. They're starting to grab a hold of the wheel here and driving it into the end zone.
Great block by Bill Cherry.
I mean, I think every player on offense for Canton is a stellar blocker. except for maybe Scar. I don't know if he's a good blocker.
If he is, just add it to the resume.
Yep.
5:38 to go in the fourth. Logan Lee will pick up 3. That's Fargo again. Fargo having one of his best games in the 4K23 era.
Yeah, it's time for DC to find a way to disrupt this. Throw something at them they haven't seen yet.
2nd and 7, over under 45.5. We're at 37 at the moment. It doesn't look like Canton's going to cover. Scar back to pass, fires to a wide open Rojo, and Rojo tried to make Bullock miss in the open field. Bullock stops a touchdown, but it's still 1st and goal.
That's a tough tackle there by Bullock. Great play by Canton to find the open back at the top of the screen, but Bullock, like you said, saved the touchdown.
That's a tough play to make for a corner, too. That was sharp.
Talk about being on an island.
Yeah, no kidding. 1st and goal, 4:45 left. Patterson to throw. Patterson is sandwiched at the 12. Wrapped up by Jason Strongbow and Josh Vasquez coming in on a safety blitz.
Yeah, I would call it a riot blitz there by the Dragons. They sent a riot of Dragon players to bring the quarterback down.
What was the initial word that you used to pull out the rest of these? Well done, sir.
I'm sorry? I don't understand what you're talking about.
2nd and goal. Handoff. Lee couldn't get around this big lineman, Max Van Linga, and it's 3rd and goal.
And DeSantis came in and was able to stop the progress.
Four minutes left. Biggest 3rd down of the game. Scar rolls out. Patterson hit as he threw, and the pass is off target. 4th down.
John Gary disrupted that pass. I don't know if we're going to see it on the replay, but Dillapre might have had a step or two on the defender, but I think that started with the break. Excuse me, what am I trying to say? The pressure that the defensive line was able to put on the quarterback.
Yeah, I think Scar just got rid of it a little bit too soon, sooner than he wanted, maybe a second and a half too soon, and that little in and out route for Dillapre did not have time to develop. So instead, it's Rob Ems on to kick the 29-yard field goal, and that squeaks through the left upright. And with 3:53 left, we are all tied 20-20, a 13-play, 58-yard drive.
Well, they answered. I mean, you can't fault Canton for not getting in the end zone. I mean, the defense played really well for DC as they got closer into the red zone. But now the pressure's on DC that they don't want to. The best thing for them is to try and come up with a drive that eats up as much of the clock as possible and it walks away with some points on the board with very little for Canton to work with.
That was the 4th drive of the game that was at least 10 plays that resulted in a scoring drive. It was actually the, if you include 8-play drives, it was the 7th drive of the game of 8 plays or more that has resulted in points. Long drives and efficient drives for the most part today. Chuck Steller's wrapped up pretty quickly, but still manages to get 2 out of it.
Yeah, I mean, only 2, but he had 2 Dragons holding on to him for, two Classics holding on to him for dear life.
Well, Charles, we wanted a close one on Monday night. We hadn't really had one yet this season, and we got it in epic fashion. This game has been close from wire to wire. Toss out Kevin Say. Kevin Say picks up 5, getting better as the game goes along, 3rd and 3.
Yeah, definitely. He's been running pretty sharp here in the second half, and just at the right time too.
DC 15 first downs, 8 of which have been gotten on 3rd down. They are 8 of 12 on 3rd down tonight. They fake the toss. They go to Hayden, and he's stopped. And DC will have to punt it away. Kevin Brackett not fooled.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only saving grace here is the clock is ticking. I mean, I don't know what else to say there. That's a dangerous play to run in that situation.
Got a little cute. Low snap. Ron Van Cleef against the wind. Remember, Canton has the wind. Oh, why not fair catch that? My goodness, Andrew. Got a death wish. Canton with the wind at their back in this quarter, so they have that advantage on their own 41-yard line. That was Kevin Say Jr. with the tackle.
Yeah, this is time for the Dragons to do something here, because this is perfect scenario for Canton to drive down and put some points up.
Someone double dog dared Andrew to make that catch without a fair catch. I think that's what happened.
Is that still a thing, double dog dare?
I don't know. You have to ask him. Logan Lee, nothing.
That's the way to
Another
start it.
loss. Strongbow. I've never seen so many TFLs against Canton. That's 7 for DC tonight.
Yeah, both the line and the linebackers for the Dragons they're just playing out of their minds tonight.
2nd and 11. Strongbow with 2 TFLs. Nick Fargo 12 solo tackles. Leading the charge for this DC defense. Gibson goes in motion. 3 receivers all to the top of the screen. Steal off to the left. Hand off Rojo. Got a lot of space up the middle to set up a more manageable 3rd down with 1:58 to go in the 4th quarter. Can you believe it? Tied at 20. The DC Dragons giving Canton all they can handle. Looking for the upset here to end week 4.
Yeah, what are we going to see here, Cam, on 3rd down out of Canton? Are they going to go back to the run, which has been pretty reliable so far? Maybe a sneak to throw everybody off?
Bill Cherry, perhaps. He's got 20 yards on 2 carries, 1 catch for 13 yards. Showing blitz. They back off. Scar back to pass. Rolls right. Scar fires down the field. Pass caught at the DC 30-yard line. Dillapre Sr. has him in scoring position. 1st down.
They're in a perfect spot right now, Cam. It's up for DC to do something to change the terms of this game. They got to throw something out they haven't seen. I don't know what, but Canton's clearly in the driver's seat so far.
Scar over 100. That was the longest pass completion by either team tonight. 25 yards on Dillapre's 5th catch. It is a tie game. Don't expect either of these teams to be taking timeouts anytime soon. DC's got to get the stop the old-fashioned way. Handoff. Logan Lee breaks a tackle. Then Lee is pushed back a bit after forward progress by Fargo. The clock will continue to run.
I think they're well within range, Cam, for M's.
Be about a 42-yarder from here. That's definitely within his range.
He's hit he hit a 45 and a 46 so far this season.
Handoff Rojo, and Rojo near a 1st down. And I believe that I don't know who called that timeout. Forgive me. That's going to be DC calling that timeout. Interesting. 3rd and short, trying to get off the field. Can they do it? 3rd and 1, handoff. Cherry got it. 1st down to the 15-yard line, and now DC is in real trouble. They take another timeout here, but they're not going to be. They have to force a turnover, Charles. They are not going to have enough time here.
Now it's all based on play selection for Canton. I mean, they've seen what works from a running standpoint. I would just stick with it. Don't do anything stupid.
Ball's at the 15. Logan Lee crosses over 100 yards. Handoff. Logan Lee hit from behind. 47 seconds left. DC is now out of timeouts. So if Canton doesn't turn the ball over here, they can basically just run the clock down.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's a chip shot for the kicker as well.
At the 14-yard line right now. We'll send Dillapre in motion. What a game.
Yeah, definitely.
DC trying to avoid falling to 1-3. This has been their best game of the season yet, no question. Handoff to Lee, actually stopped in the backfield. But here on 3rd down and 9, there's Rob Ems setting up. He's got the red shoe. Getting ready. They don't need him yet, though. All 3 timeouts for Canton. 3rd down and 9. Patterson's throwing. Patterson to the end zone. Incomplete. And that gives DC a little bit of life.
Yeah, very little, but that was an ill-advised play call, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Charles. There's really no advantage in that except for not having to rely on a field goal. But this is Rob Enns, who's a perfect 8 for 8 this season. 32-yard field goal with the wind at his back. That kick is drifting left, but it is good. Canton takes the lead. Now DC does not have any timeouts. Another 10-play drive that results in points. So DC, the odds of them having any opportunity to potentially win this with no timeouts in 21 seconds pretty low, but Canton did give them the chance.
Is Harrison back there to get the kick?
Yeah, sure is.
He's done it on a punt. Let's see if he can do it on a kick return.
Nope. And yeah, we've seen that all night going in that direction. That was probably DC's best chance, honestly. The longest pass of the game for the Dragons is 19 yards. They have not been a deep threat tonight.
That kick traveled into the kettle and messed with somebody's Kamzuki.
Great stat from Tyler Falk from back in our studios. No passing yards for DC in the second half. They have had 63 rushing yards. That's surprising. Didn't realize it had been that long. Synergy will try to throw it. He just dumps it short. That is ridiculous. Lauren Percoco only picks up 3. They got to get a spike or something. They got to get out of this.
It was a long developing spike.
Well, I think this is it, Charles. Unless they can get out of bounds, I mean, that's just poor 2-minute offense right there.
We're looking at potentially play of the season if they get a score on this.
Oh, no doubt. Canton would have to have a colossal defensive failure here. DC hoping for a miracle. Synergy rolls it out. Tried to dump it off short. They've been running that dink and dunk here in the second half. Not working. 4th and 7. This is it.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen many plays from DC tonight that have multiple deep routes. I mean, they've got obviously this one.
Well, I mean, hey, Canton's a tough secondary. You don't try to test them too often. Now you have to. Synergy deep. It is incomplete for Percoco, and that is the end of the game. DC gets 0 passing yards in the second half, and Shabazz Synergy, for the 3rd time this season, fades again. Canton survives. What a game here on Monday night.
Wow. I mean, we talked about at the beginning of the game what DC needed to do to win. We talked about getting Percoco involved. They did. We talked about having a little wrinkle in that they hadn't seen, and that was Chuck Stellar all the way. They did it. They did everything that we asked them to do, but it just wasn't enough to beat this highly effective team from Canton. I mean, wow. They just kept running it and running it and running it, and after a while, it gets pretty hard to stop late in the 4th quarter.
They battled the whole game. 5 trips in the red zone for Canton, just 2 touchdowns. But at the end of the day, the Dragons, who got doubled up in time of possession here tonight, just was unable to find the explosivity they needed to keep up with those classics, and they fall 23-20. What a game. Tyler Falk and Chris Curtis have their reactions coming right up. We'll see you next Monday night for the Monday Night Spectacular. Let's well, actually, Curtis and Tyler can probably help us with that. Doubleheader. Atlanta, Mexico City, Vancouver, Louisiana, of course. How could I forget? Wow, what a great game. Thanks, everybody, as part of our crew. Canton 23, DC 20. Back to the boys. Take it away.
And with that, another one bites the dust. Canton comes out with the comeback win. They were trailing by 3 at halftime. They come out with a win by 3 at the end of the football game against the DC Dragons. Tyler Falk with me for the Monday Night Spectacular post-game report. And Tyler, 3 total offensive passing yards in the second half for DC. That is not going to do it. Even if the rushing game was decent, you got to keep a balance.
Look, and there was a couple of turnovers in there mixed throughout, but I think the thing that for me describes the second half for DC, at least the passing game, and the play calling to end the game, buzzkill. I mean, It just was. We can diagnose it the entire time. It just was not good. It needs. This is the antithesis of what DC football has tended to be when they're not playing up to their potential. We talked about them playing up to the potential in the first half, but all of a sudden we see the Hyde version. We saw Dr. Jekyll earlier. Now we see Dr. Hyde. It is the perfect superlative to DC football, Jekyll and Hyde. And oh boy, DC, we want you to be so good. We want you to you have so much talent. You have a great coach. You have a great team. But come on! You let it go late. You let Canton come back. You let Canton do this. And kudos to Canton for not taking their foot off the gas. But to me, I think DC lost this one more than Canton won them.
I would tend to agree with that, yeah. And talking about DC's potential, every season we seem to kind of put them, at the beginning of the season, we seem to put them in the group that should be in the upper echelon of the league. And it's not to say they disappoint. They were up in the upper echelon, I'd say, a season ago. But they find ways to kind of put it to bed. And this, I think, is one of them. I think you're right. Canton lost this game, or Canton did not win this game as much as DC lost it, I think is a fair way to put it. That said, DC is definitely, I'd put them at the best 1-win team so far in the season. I don't think there's any doubt about that at this point. So, I mean, their season is young. There's a lot of football left to be played. They very well could come across a surge, and we'll see what happens. Canton, though, I mean, they're doing what Canton does. They find ways to win. That's what good teams do. Even when things aren't going particularly right all the time, they find a way to get it done against what is becoming one of their better rivals in this league.
I mean, again, I agree with you on both points. Again, like I said, even though they did not win today, they are always a threat to make a late season comeback. They've done it time and time again. They seem to need to go through this spell of just uncertainty, maybe not a full commitment. I don't know what it is, but they go through this early season spell and then they kick it up a notch and they finally start figuring things out. But it seems like every season we're talking about this for DC. And like you said, Canton does Canton things. And though it's not a perfect season like it was a season ago, it is definitely Canton football. They're running the football down their throats. The passing game is just there to make things balanced, but it's definitely a run-heavy team that you have to prepare for. Logan Lee, again, is so tough to bring back, and then you tag him with Rojo, and it becomes a nightmare for every coaching staff in this league to prepare for.
Yep, it is nightmare fuel preparing against Canton at any facet. No doubt about that. Let's put this one to bed. Canton comes out with the win 23-20, and they go to, they don't have any losses yet this season. So kudos to them. DC at 1-3. Let's talk about the week to come. Instead of going through the schedule and talking about favorites and that kind of thing, let's talk about the doubleheader that's going to happen next week. It is a very special doubleheader, remembering the fallen members of the SFL who, we have lost over the last several years. And we start with Mexico City and Atlanta. At Mexico City, August 12th, Matt Wilson. I mean, you can't underestimate or understate what he meant to this league. And on a day that we remember him against an Atlanta squad who just lost somebody themselves. So this is a big time Remembrance Day next week. I'm very excited about it. It kind of puts everything into perspective while we have great football to watch.
It's a tremendous night where we honor our most senior, if you can call it that, definitely not the right words, but the second member to fall victim to life in the life circumstances, going up against one of our most recent teams that have lost, BRV, Billy Ray Valentine, a tremendous cornerstone to this Atlanta franchise. And of course, we talk about Louisiana Revolution, losing about senior, and then Vancouver, of course, fractured. I mean, this night where we come together as a league, where we see the franchises where our heroes played, where our heroes founded all these relationships, this interconnectivity, and you see that still in these locker, each and every one of these locker rooms. Most of the pillars are still there in all four of these
Mhm.
locker rooms, apart from each of them, one of the most crucial pieces of that franchise. So we get to honor them by playing the game they wanted us to play. If all of them could say something right now that said, keep looking forward,
Yep.
play the game in honor, in tribute, do it for us, keep playing, don't forget us, but keep moving forward. And I think on the 12th is a great opportunity and a great night for the SFL and for football.
Let's spend a little bit of time breaking down these games. It's a big doubleheader either way, toward for season 23 reasons. And there will be plenty of remembrances going on throughout the night. But breaking down an Atlanta Mexico City matchup that really on paper is a very exciting matchup to say the least. Two teams, Mexico City trying to keep it rolling, Atlanta trying to kind of find, I wouldn't say find their way, but at the same point trying to find a role and get moving downhill.
Yeah, the big thing for me is that Mexico City has really looked very good. And yes, they did fall this past weekend, but they kept it close. It was just something we haven't really been able to say too much for the Aztecs throughout this entire season, losing by 4 points in the loss this past weekend, and really starting to still make a claim for themselves as being one of the better teams in the South Division, where they've had to
Yeah.
kind of try and rebuild themselves. Atlanta, of course, losing a lot of their members to Albuquerque in the offseason when Albuquerque was announced, and still trying to find a way back. And that they've been quite surprising. And now a 2-2 squad when they take on the Aztecs. It's very, very good to see Atlanta with not much depth, but the right pieces in there. And so you're talking about two franchises, one that is in an immediate rebuild, where one is just coming out, I think, of their
Yeah.
rebuild and fighting up. I think the start of the doubleheader is going to be a very exciting and entertaining football game.
Yep. And talking about the nightcap, it is Vancouver headed to the Big Easy, not quite New Orleans, but in Homa. It is going to be the Louisiana Revolution playing host to the Legion. That matchup is also has some pretty good promises to it. Mexico City hung a 50 burger on Houston earlier this season. Their offense has not been lethargic, but I would say throughout the season they've been very good. And then Louisiana has hit a couple of roadblocks, but overall has performed better than in seasons past. Now you have these two going head to head in a game that I'd say probably means more to Louisiana than it does to Vancouver.
I think the both of these teams, especially their quarterbacks, need to worry about the turnover bug a lot. We saw Christian Brown throw a few picks this season already. We know how Tommy Utah can be in certain situations, especially against Minnesota, throwing a couple of interceptions, untimely interceptions. The big thing is, can these quarterbacks keep the ball in their respective teams' hands? And I know a few of those interceptions for both these guys weren't their fault. Maybe their coaches. I know Coach Craven over in Louisiana. I know Andy Hamilton in Vancouver will be looking for ways to get the quarterbacks more comfortable, looking for easier passing lanes rather than trying to force a ball in there. It's going to be an interesting game. Both teams, right around. Louisiana in one of the lowest scoring teams. They've only played 3 games, but on the converse end, Vancouver scored nearly 2 times or more the amount of points that Louisiana has. So clearly the advantage goes to Vancouver in this one. Can Louisiana's defense come up to the task and can the offense put a game together?
Yeah, but Matt Wilson always said that's why we play it on the field. So that's exactly what we're going to do in a week's time. So that said, get your 4s, 12s, your 86s, your 68s, your 93s out. We will have them on display next next week for our Remembrance Day, August 12th for the Monday night spectacular doubleheader for our fallen SFL members. For Tyler Falk, I'm Chris Curtis saying goodbye and good night for week 4. Week 5 just around the corner. We will see you then. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.